move on now to our union-facing story. We've learned today that Amplats plans to retrench 474 workers, and this has angered the National Union of Mineworkers. On the line now, we're joined by Frans Baleni. He is the General Secretary of NUM. Frans, thank you so much for making the time to join us. 474 jobs. How are you responding to this? Are you going to strike?
We are extremely disturbed by this action of Anglo Platinum. We are taking action in the form of legal measures at this stage. You would recall that when we intervened, when Anglo Platinum was about to retrench 16,000, we then entered into an agreement, including the DMR, to reduce those numbers. After the strike of the 5 months with AMCU, what management of Anglo Platinum has done is to actually reverse that agreement and sign confidential an agreement between themselves and AMCU, which say that if they are not improving on productivity, up to 2,000 workers can be laid off. It is in that context that they are laying these workers off, and we are challenging that. We think that they walked away from an agreement which was entered by all stakeholders, including the regulator.
Frans, in that part of the platinum sector, you are now the minority union. They are the player. More broadly, they are your competition. As we've said before, the first time in 30 years, really, that there's been competition in that space. Is it going to be a race for things that you wouldn't have pushed for before because you're trying to outdo AMCU?
We have always fought for workers, be it being a majority union then, and we're still continuing even now when we are not at that level of penetration. So we're not trying to outsmart AMCU. We're fighting for the rights. In our constitution, clearly one of our assignments is to protect jobs. Here jobs are being destroyed. It is our responsibility to defend those workers.
Frans, of course, there's always going to be the view that linking performance to productivity is what South Africa needs. And from what you're saying, it seems as if this is what the company has decided to do. How do you respond to wanting that disconnect between productivity and labor?
If the company wanted to include productivity in the equation, they should have involved us. Remember that we signed an agreement with them, including the DMR. They can't be behind closed doors with one party just sign an agreement. We are not hostile to issue of productivity, but our view is that productivity is the responsibility of management. But on condition that workers are involved, they can't just set targets, shift targets, and treat workers as machinery.
Well, thanks to Frans Baleni. He is the General Secretary at the National Union of Mineworkers.